The native peoples of the Pacific Northwest, stretching from northern California through Alaska, include many tribes such as the Haida, Tlingit, Kwakwaka'wakw, Coast Salish, and Chinook. Each has its own language and customs, yet they share deep connections to the land and sea. For thousands of years, these tribes lived along coasts and rivers rich with food. The ocean provided fish, shellfish, and sea mammals, while the forests offered berries, roots, and game. The most important food for many tribes was salmon. Every year when salmon returned to spawn, families celebrated with gratitude. Salmon was sacred, a symbol of life, respect, and renewal. The people of the Northwest Coast were expert builders and artists. Using giant cedar trees, they built sturdy plank houses and carved canoes, tools, and art. Cedar was called the tree of life because it provided nearly everything they needed. Their homes were often decorated with carvings and paintings that told family stories. One of the most beautiful traditions of these tribes is the totem pole, tall wooden carvings that tell stories, record history, or honor ancestors. Each figure, such as an eagle or bear, held special meaning. Totem poles were not idols, but storytelling art. Once completed, a pole was raised in a joyful ceremony of song, dance, and feasting. Another important event was the potlatch, a large gathering filled with food, dancing, storytelling, and gift-giving. Hosts gave away gifts to show generosity, and the more they shared, the more respected they became. Potlatches taught lessons of kindness, balance, and community, values still alive today. Trade connected coastal and inland tribes through vast networks that stretched for hundreds of miles. People exchanged fish, furs, shells, and carved goods for obsidian, copper, and animal hides. These exchanges were more than just economic. They spread stories, songs, and traditions across the region, creating bonds between distant peoples. Spiritual life was deeply tied to nature. The tribes believed every living thing, animals, rivers, mountains, and even rocks, had a spirit that deserved respect. This belief guided how they hunted, fished, and gathered, taking only what was needed and giving thanks for nature's gifts. Many modern environmental movements have been inspired by this way of thinking, seeing humans as part of nature rather than separate from it. The arrival of European explorers in the 1700s brought great change. At first, trade in furs and goods was friendly, but diseases like smallpox spread, and settlers later forced tribes from their lands. Many traditions were restricted or banned. Still, native peoples held tightly to their culture. By the 20th century, laws banning potlatches were lifted, and communities began to celebrate openly again. Today, the art of the Northwest Coast, totem poles, masks, and woven blankets, is admired worldwide. Artists like Bill Reed, Susan Point, and Robert Davidson blend traditional and modern styles, keeping the culture alive. Totem poles now stand proudly in cities like Vancouver and Seattle as symbols of unity and respect for nature. Many communities are also reviving their native languages, teaching them to young people as a way to reconnect with their heritage. Museums such as the Royal BC Museum in Canada and the Burke Museum in Seattle share these stories through traditional art and artifacts. Visitors to coastal villages can still see carvers at work, hear songs passed down for generations, and join in festivals that celebrate the strength and beauty of their traditions. The people of the Pacific Northwest remind us that true wealth lies not in gold or land, but in the stories, wisdom, and connections that bind communities together, just as they have done for thousands of years.